Hi, my name is Samuel Fianko-Ofori. I'm a student of Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. This is a YouTube PowerPoint presentation, Case 1, Legal Counsel for Business 343. My lecturer is Professor Aaron Lockhart. Grievance discussion, Case 1. Bainbridge Borough's employee, her name is Carol Fenn, versus American Federation of States, County and Municipal Employees. The contents of the case. Employee Carol Fenn has been employed for 18 years as tax clerk. Adoption of 3-month baby but a short notice. Initially requested leave on April 27th, 5 days after adoption. For 2 weeks, leave approved for May 2nd through May 17th. Requested a further 6 months unpaid extension a day before initial 2-week leave expired. This was rejected. Instead, 2 consecutive 90-day leaves were approved, totaling 6 months. Grievance filed on June 1st. My position. This paper will argue the case for the employee, Carol Fenn. The reasons for this position are as follows. A biological mother and an adoptive mother have equal paternal rights, will have bond, should not be treated differently. 2. Even though the adoption approval and the subsequent request were a short notice, this was largely outside the control of Carol Fenn and therefore unforeseeable. 3. The offer made by the council will leave Carol Fenn in a materially worse position. 4. There were shortcomings on the part of both the employee and the employer, and HR department should have ensured both parties were fully informed and aware of their right, particularly Carol, who might not have been fully aware of her right under the law. Potentially relevant contract provisions. Maternity leave shall be granted at the request of the employee. Upon the request of employee, this shall be extended or renewed for a period not to exceed 6 months. Reasonable purpose. Leave of absence for a limited period not exceeding 90 days shall be granted for any reasonable purpose to be agreed by the union and the borough. Employer's possible argument. The employer might be mistaken in concluding that adoptive parents are not entitled to maternity leave. The notice given to the employer by Carol Fenn on both occasions that the leave was requested was insufficient. And then thirdly, they might claim Carol Fenn herself only requested for paid vacation and then unpaid leave when she asked for an extension instead of maternity leave. Therefore, the employer was only responding to the request made. The case for Carol Fern, where I am arguing for her, the FMLA 1993 clearly recognizes adoptive mothers. There can be no discrimination between biological mothers and adoptive mothers. Carol Fern and her husband had no control over when a suitable match will become available. Even then, they requested and secured some further time, as this was a busy period at her department. Also, the relevant sections of her contract fails to state how much notice the employer required. This suggests that the contract only recognized maternity for biological mothers. Such mothers clearly have enough time and thus can give due notice. Due to a lack of information, Carol initially requested 2 weeks paid vacation instead of maternity leave. HR had a responsibility to make her fully aware of her rights. The requested for extension was inevitable, as mothers and babies need to bond for several months. Again, HR should have made her aware of her rights under the law so that she could request for maternity leave and not unpaid leave. My research and evidence, that is precedence. Fact sheet 28 of the Family and Labor Act states, I quote, eligible employees may take up to 12 work week of leave in a 12-month period for one or more for the birth of a son or daughter, or placement of a son or daughter with the employee for adoption or foster care. So my conclusion, adoptive mothers have the same recognition as biological mothers under the law. Again, Carol Fern could not provide a lot of notice as the process of adoption was not entirely under her control. Even then, she worked to provide some notice, and the relevant section of her contract is indeed silent on the issue of how much notice is required. Furthermore, the HR failed in its duty of care, as did the union in ensuring that Carol requested for maternity leave and not paid vacation and then unpaid leave. Additionally, her ignorance in this matter should not lead to her being treated any differently to any expectant or new mother. The employer has a responsibility to respect the law and its own contracts. Then lastly, the offer from the employee will leave Carol materially disadvantaged, especially when compared to a biological mother. This is contrary to the spirit and letter of the law in this regard. Violation of collective bargaining agreements. Union clearly discriminated by change request to unpaid leave. Also, union discriminating leave birth versus adoption. And finally, union requests the change in wording of contract to suit adopted parents. Then my support for the clients. Need for bonding just as important as maternal mothers. Family Medical Leave Act, that is the FMLA passed in 1993. Also, fair and partial benefit for all mothers. And finally, Great Example Union to consider in regulating and changing bylaws. So my conclusion is this. Carol Fern did receive the same benefit just as the biological mothers at Bainbridge Borough. I believe caring for newborns is enormous, and it comes with same responsibilities for both biological and adopted mothers. The Bible says children are a gift from the Lord. That is Psalm 127, verse number 3. Therefore, it does not matter whether biological or adopted, the mother should be given same treatment at workplace and must enjoy same benefits just as biological mothers always enjoy. Thank you so very much.